So welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. I've just watched K-pop Demon Hunters recently and I got inspired and I said, well, this could work as a D&D campaign. In the series, we take a myth and we try to apply that to a D&D structure. So we break down the plot lines and then restructure it as a D&D campaign and how you can use it yourself. So hopefully this will give you some inspiration to make it your own story and to kind of make sure that you make it your own enough so that your players, if they watched, read, or whatever, experienced this myth or story before, that you can make it fresh enough for them to actually see it as your own and not recognize the pattern. If you have any suggestions on myths you would like to see me cover, you can please leave them in the comments below. In the description, I also leave all the source material that I use and I based my thoughts on if you want to check those out. And last but not least, if you like this video, please leave a like. The creator of K-pop Demon Hunters, Maggie King, was inspired by some K-pop groups, but also shamanism from Korean mythology. And using shamanism as a word to describe this religion and the religious practices might not be the best, but to translate that is hard, so just keep that in mind. So the girls vanquish demons with their weapons, but also try to reinforce the barrier between the two worlds with their song and their fandom that it spawns in this very awesome blend of both the K-pop industry, but also this whole mythology. Now the main antagonist is Wima, a demon king who forces other demons to go into the human realm to try to find him souls to be able to feast on and then send them back into the demon realm. The whole plan behind the antagonist group, all the Saja boys, is that they are all demons that are once used to be humans, and they come up with a plan to be able to get Wima souls by going into the lands of the humans to be able to, as K-pop boys, shepherd souls into the lands of the demons. And when it comes to the whole plot structure, right, you've got this K-pop group of three main cast characters, right, that would be your party in this case. And I think it would be easy to kind of just say that they're all bards, right? They are in some way incorporating their song, their performance, to make this magical effect, a barrier that protects the living realm from demons. Now, what you need for this campaign to work is that you are a team that is protecting the barrier between the demon world and the human world. That is the core of this story, right? This is the goal which you are supposed to be doing and working towards as the characters. And now when it comes to another plot structure, the main character, it is slowly revealed. She is also marked. She is half demon in some sort of way. And this is, of course, taboo, but also a core part of the story. Can you overcome what you are? And there are also some characters in the story where they have made some past mistake. They've made some form of crime, or in fact, what they are and what they were born as. They all share that they have a flaw in some way. The good thing about, K-pop groups is that sometimes many of them have different members that they all feature something of their own, whether that's dancing, whether that's singing, whether that's choreography, lyrical, like writing the songs, etc. This can also, of course, be used as a way to use the different D&D classes. Right? They are all good at certain stuff. You've got in the Saja boards, you got a dude that basically just flexes their muscles. Now, I don't know if you've seen barbarians or fighters or etc., but that's perfect, right? You've got the muscle guy right there, and you've got someone that raps. That could be a bard, that could be something else perhaps. And then you can just continue like this until you figure out what kind of options do we have to play. And I think we're going to look at the Saja boys for a minute. And this is something that you can use to try to how do I feature these antagonists in a D&D sense? And you've got these antagonists that are trying to lure human souls to them as an with a new way. You've got the Sanja Boy, which is the main villains that are featured in the campaign, because these guys will be how the big bad evil guy is trying to gain souls. And the Sanja Boys will be the ones that your party come to clash with most of the times. They're not going to clash with the big bad evil guy. They're going to clash with the Sanja Boys for a bunch of times. So the core identity of these boys is that they're a demon K-pop boy band. What's so good about these is that they can be a recurring villain. Demons generally do not die in the material plane. So you can have a reasoning that if your player characters are going to kill the Sanja Boys while they're out and about doing whatever they need, they will simply return to the demonic realm or the underworld or whatever it is that you're using, and then you can feature them again, which will grant you an option as a DM to actually use a recurring villain. Because more often than not, your players are just going to throw your story off the rails and kill whatever it is you're planning to come back later on, or you have a total party kill on your hand. But with these boys, you can actually make them recurring, and you can even level them up as you go along. So I think this offers a good opportunity for character growth, both for the party members and for the Sanja Boys as well. Because even if the player characters manage to kill them in the first encounter with them, they will simply return and, taunt them for that, or try to, get revenge or whatever. And you can have some cool narrative arcs with that. To showcase what they could be, I'm going to give you some options. For the Succubus, the Charm, the Draining Kiss are all, two fun ways to use the Sanja Boys, and fits with their overall theme of kind of charming their way to mortals. When it comes to the Incubus, they have access to Hypnotic Pattern and Dream. You might need to reflavor these things a bit, because they are more nightmarish than they are represented in the source material. Now, you can, of course, use this as a way to kind of get some variety in the Sanja Boys, and maybe one of them will be this. But I think using Succubi will probably be better, because what we see happening in the story is that they're actually charming their way to be able to gain souls as a way of having, willing participants join them into their fandom, where they actually offer their souls instead. Cambions are pretty good. They're CR5. You got Disguise Self, which is perfect. And you also got Dominate, which can be very useful to set up these, fan characters where they can use them to do their bidding and so forth. Cambions also have this thing where they often usually serve a greater evil, which could be the main demon king in the story. You also, of course, got the Oni. You will need to reflavor this a bit. It's CR7. It does have some good abilities to be able to, go invisible, also shape change. So this can be very useful, because this is very good for slipping through any type of magical detection, where they might be able to tell if the Sanja Boys are that or this. For this time, an Oni can actually be quite hard to be able to detect that it's actually something else. And lastly is the Rakshasa at CR13. If you want to really mess with your players, this is it. This is the thing that you would like to use. You've got, first and foremost, greater magic resistance, which is just totally awesome, because you can just ignore spells, and what's more, you can ignore stuff that's trying to detect what they actually are, which means that if you have a high magic setting, which a bunch of stuff is going to be able to tell that there are in fact demons, with this, you're able to slip through all of those things, and actually just make sure that your K-pop group demons are actually just K-pop group dudes. It also has the Fiendish Restoration in their stat block without any narrative tomfoolery or homebrew. So this is actually mechanically that it actually says that it will return to the demonic realm in your setting. Their whole design of Rakshasa is to kind of infiltrate, decept, and deceive their way into power centers and so forth. And also just deceiving people into, for example, feeding them their souls, which is perfect for the Saja boys. They also got good illusion magic and an ability called Baleful Command, which can have some cool kind of like bard-like use in a combat situation. Now, this is, of course, a very bard-centric story, but you can shift it a bit to make sure that the barrier is not as reliant on song and just make it more so reliant on whatever it is that your party needs to succeed in and what they're working towards. Now, the story itself is them kind of creating this sense of togetherness and also strengthening the barrier through their performances, through their song, through their craft. When you've done this, you can simply just throw demonic K-pop boys at the world and the setting and at them, and then just watch them react. The players are trying to strengthen the barrier. The Saja boys are trying to weaken the barrier. And there you have a direct clash, a conflict of interest. And then whatever your players do, you can just simply react to that with the Saja boys and their minions. Last but not least, I think you should try to feature your party's flaw, right? Their characters' flaws, overcoming them, accepting, etc. You got some good plot lines there. Number 2, the Saja boys themselves, make them able to be redeemed, especially in the final fight, right? It's very thematic. So you can have these demonic characters and then actually twist that in the end. So you can definitely have the door open for some or all of the Saja boys to actually be part of the fight against the big bad evil guy at the end. So I hope this video inspired you to go and try this. And if you want to feature demonic K-pop boys in your world, then you have my official permission to do so. It would be very fun to be a player in that table. So hopefully you feel inspired and go on and run some games.